Happy December! I am so excited to dive into this year's album. Um, First thing I gotta do, obviously, is organize. I was hoping to have this done by December 1st, but that's okay. I'm gonna get it all done today, and that way I can start working on my album hopefully tomorrow. And I have some ideas jotted down, and I've got my calendar. I'm probably not gonna use these planning sheets from what was this from? Prep Day. I printed them out just in case I might want them, but I do have a notebook that I use that I keep most everything in. I'm definitely going to use the calendar though for planning purposes. I usually do that anyway. And then if you didn't see my other my album, I just finished 2024. I posted a video on finishing that up. I just filmed a walkthrough without any talking. That will be going up. It'll probably be up before this video, so be sure to check that out. I will link that below as well. So these are all my goodies. Well, not all of them. These are goodies from last year. I've got some stuff in here from last year that I used, or that I didn't use actually, but this is where I kind of kept a lot of stuff in here. Some of my cards and things. And then I've got some things on my cart on the side, which I may be switching what cart I use. I have to decide that as well. So first thing I need to do is put all of these goodies into my December daily stash so that I can then organize this year's kit. And I like to keep the current kit separate from the other stuff. I just do. I like to kind of try to focus on that stuff first and then add to my album from the previous year's stuff, because I do have kind of a lot. I purged a few years ago some of my stuff, but I still have a good stash to pull from. So not sure if I'm going to talk during this video or if I'm going to actually do a voiceover. We'll see how it goes. But I'm going to start putting all these goodies away. Okay, so I was pulling out my embellishment boxes. I've got this one. I've got another one. This one's kind of big. I don't love it, so I just have a few things in there because it's kind of big. I prefer this size. And I had my numbers in this one, and I just transferred them to this box. They were originally in here, and then I switched them. Because these boxes are not adjustable. So I needed this box so that I can add more of my embellishments and things that I have. The only downside to this box, which is why I switched it in the first place, is that I can't fit these bigger numbers in there. Oh, that one will fit. I don't remember. These were from several years back. Well, that one will fit. But see, they're too big, so I'm going to have to put these with my big numbers. But it still works. I've got all my numbers in here. 6s and 9s go together. Man, do you remember these? These, I've had these forever. Oh my gosh, look at these. Love them. Okay, so I've got my numbers in here. I think what I might do, I probably have too much washi to put in here. I might put some of my wood embellishments in here. I'm not sure, but I'm going to start adding to this box and see how full I get, and then I'll go from there and decide what I want to put in here. I also have these sequin boxes that I just got this year. I used to keep all of my metal in a box like this, but they kept sliding underneath no matter how much I secured it. So I found these on Amazon and I absolutely love them. They're just these little boxes that you can put all of your goodies in here. So I have all of my metal pieces in here, mostly Tim Holtz. Oh, these numbers, I love these numbers so much. So I've got all my metal stuff in this one, and then I've got this one for all of my sequins. So you can see here I've got, that's a fun one. Let's see. Love it. And I did pick up a few more this year. I got these fun stars on Amazon. I'm trying to think where I got these clear ones from. I think it was this one, and I know this one I got when I was in Utah. I love the colors in this one. So I'll be adding these in here, and then this box will be full, but I do have, I think I have one extra one. I have my regular sequins. This is just Christmas sequins. But I might have to get another one of these boxes. But I love the size. They're nice and small. Keeps all my sequins there. I can see exactly what's in there. So love that. So now I'm going to start putting the rest of my embellishments in this box. And what I like about this one is obviously I can take these little dividers out for some of my larger ones. So that's why I need to switch out my numbers out of this one. So I'm going to start with that and go from there. So now I'm just going to go through all of my embellishments from last year and kind of group them together as best I can, you know, all the plastic pieces together, all the, you know, round little journaling circles and squares and my gold stars, and try to group them as best I can, you know, in a way that makes sense so that when I go to pull from my embellishments as I'm working on my December daily, I know exactly what I have. So organized some of these bigger pieces from last year that will have to go in that big box that I have. I've got quite a few of these left over. And you'll see me kind of go back and forth with the other box here in a minute. And I'm kind of combining all of my previous years with what I had left over from last year. But as I mentioned earlier, the reason I moved the numbers out of this box is because it has the little dividers that will come out so that I can put larger pieces in there, like these gold chipboard words, which I love, and those phrases. There was different phrases in there, and some vellum, or not vellum, plastic words in there. So I put in there what would fit, and then I'm pulling the rest of the stuff out. To those big ones are going to go actually in my cart, and then the rest are going to go in that other embellishment box right there that has that couple of those big sections. So I'm just going to keep working on this and getting these organized so that I can start working on my album. So you can see right here I have some of this chipboard that was from one of the December kits, either last year or the year before. So I'm just popping that out and putting that in with my other embellishments and kind of trying to organize it by chipboard circles and squares or similar to that shape, a little tags, and then my sentiments. You can see there I've got a lot of little chipboard circles that I'm kind of moving from my other box. I have more washi that I needed to put, and I wanted to keep it all together, which is why I'm moving some of the stuff from my other box into here. I have a lot of stars and different shapes that I'm trying to keep together. Some of those canvas tags, I really need to, or those canvas word strips. I need to use some of those. Same with those rubber sentiments. I have a bunch of those left over from many years back. I think they'd be cute hanging on like the outside of something. So I need to figure out how I can use some of those. So I'm just going to continue going through my boxes and organizing everything so that I can get started for this year. So now I'm just going through and organizing all of my stickers and my number stickers and tab stickers and 4x6 cards, 3x4 cards, all of that stuff that was left over from last year. I put them all in this organizer that I got from scrapbook.com, which I will show in just a minute in more detail. But right now I'm just kind of putting everything away. I have everything divided up by categories, and which I will show in just a second. So I'm just putting those 3x8 cards in there, and then I'm going to work on the paper. So now I'm just going to go through what papers I have left. And I'm so bummed I didn't use this last year. I'm going to need to try to use this year. And kind of organize them a little bit. Let's see. Why is that one bigger? Oh, this is one I printed. I don't remember if that was from Prep Day or Product Play, where it was different colors than what came in the kit. So many fun papers. Let's see. And this one is from, I think, maybe 2 years ago that I didn't use that I really want to try and use this year. I love that one. I actually have an idea in mind for this one. So scraps. I'm going to put, actually have this envelope for my scraps. Put these in there. It'll fit. Let's see. Okay. One more. Oh, I didn't end up using this one from a couple years ago either, and I love that. And then these are just from my stash. Anytime I find vellum or transparencies. I actually picked this up at Hobby Lobby this year. I'm thinking I want to try and use the die cut, the label die cut, and cut the outside in this gold. I think I can make some of my own labels for that. So I'm going to do that. I've got some glitter paper. I don't even remember why I have this, but that's in there. I've got this that I put all of my vellum and my transparencies go in here. So I'll put those in there. There was another one. Oh, there we go. The only thing I don't put in there is the ones that came with the kit. These are just kind of my extras, my 12x12s. Everything else I kind of keep with the pattern papers so that I can have them all together. And that one's bigger too. I think I might have printed that one at home too. It does feel like a different weight. Yeah. Okay. So I've got all those. And these will all go on my cart, which I will show in a second. Okay, so timeout on the new kit just yet. I knew I was forgetting something and I couldn't think of what it was, but I have these two containers of stuff that needs to be put away that I had on another table that I totally forgot about. So I need to put these away first. So for the large felt numbers, I have this bin where I keep all my numbers that won't fit in my other container. Oh yeah, these are old. Actually, I think those are letters. I need to go through those and see if I even have enough to spell something. And remember these big red felt numbers? Oh my gosh. Of course the dog is barking. And then I still have some of these cork ones and the wood ones. Oh, love them. Okay. And that is Riker barking at people outside. So I've got a few white felt ones. I've got a few black ones. These are from a while ago too. These wood ones. And some of these I just picked up, you know, shopping. Like, I love these are Studio Calico ones. Pretty Little Studio. I think that's what these are too. And then this is Simple Stories. I love the new 49 and Market numbers this year with Vicki Boutin. Love Vicki. So I need to find a little envelope to put these in at some point because they're going to get kind of lost in here. But anyway, this is where I put all of the big ones. So I've got a few green ones left over. Let's see. Got a 4, either a 6 or a 9. 0, 3, 7, 8. So I can keep that in mind when I'm doing my album this year. I didn't end up using the little gingerbread men. They're so cute. And I only ended up using one of my trees. These are so fun though. These were a lot of fun. I might try and do something with these. So I'm going to put these vellum numbers in here. Just kind of tuck them in there. That goes in there. And then these wood stars. I don't know if I think they'll all fit in one. Maybe? Maybe not. There's a lot of them. Take that out. I love those. I think it'd be fun to do like a shaker pocket with a couple of the little ones. Might try to do that this year. So now I can look at organizing my goodies this year. These are some of the things I've saved. Oh, so excited. So let me show you a few of the containers I have before I get started on this. So I've got this that I picked up from a probably an estate sale or a thrift store. This would be good for like 4x6 cards, I think. I also have, they get dusty sitting around for a year. That one's got paint on it. So I have these cute little containers. Not the most practical, but they're cute. So these long containers I actually got as a set on Amazon. I have the, you know, I use them to organize my drawers in here. But I like these because they have the little rubber feet. Those would be good for long embellishments. You can see I got another one of these little stars with my Avery Index tabs in there. I think these were in the bullseye section. Yeah, Target a couple years ago. I just picked these up just last week at one of my favorite bake shops in Huntsville, Moon Bake Shop. I just thought they were super cute. And I thought they would look real cute with either like these stars or the little numbers or even these numbers. You could put these numbers, and my dogs are still barking. I apologize. Or even, you know, to hold your washi. I don't know. I am a sucker for these, so I love them. I also have these containers that are from Target. They're actually in the bathroom section. This has got glitter all in it from last year, but these are a really good size. You saw that I had my all of my stars, my wood stars in there. So I have a lot of containers that I kind of keep around. I switch them out year to year because it just all depends on what the product is. You know, if I don't have anything long to put in here, obviously I'm not going to use it, or like these. So, and I don't always use these either because they're not always practical because of the shape. So it just depends on what's in the kit. And then I also, I picked this up at Publix. I don't know if you have a Publix, it's a grocery store. It was like, I think $12. And I had actually been looking at one on Amazon, and it was actually more on Amazon. So I saw this and thought, well, if I don't use it for December daily, I can still, use it for food, for snackies or something. So I thought it was super cute. These little things come out. So cute. Oh, and then I also have my other organizer that I have just realized I have not unpacked yet from my scrapbook retreat not last weekend, but the week before. It's been go, go, go for the last 2 months, and I just realized I haven't unpacked that yet. Let me go grab that. Okay, so if you follow me on Instagram, you probably already saw this, but this is the cute little container I got at Target. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. So I was working on my Vicki Boutin kit last weekend. She had her whole Mistletoe and Memories, weekend, doing the album and all the goodies. So I've got all this stuff that's left over from the kit, and so I'll probably empty out that stuff and maybe put some goodies in here. The thing that I liked about this, what I was thinking, is that you could take these out, right, and just have them on your desk. And then I'm thinking, so the outside the page protector 6x8 cards won't fit, but this is an old one. These will, but you could also certainly use this to stack things up, or use it for the smaller cards, or use it for, you could put your stamps in here for December, whatever you want. But I just thought it was cute. It was like $10, so I thought, what the heck, I'll get it. And again, just like my other Christmas tree here, if I don't use it for scrapbooking, I'll use it for, food, snackies, whatever. So I have that. And then I also have this cute little organizer. Again, this is from the Bullseye section. No, it's not. This might be, well, I think it is. Yeah, I think this is from the Bullseye section several years ago too. So this would be real cute for, it can hold cards or, well, 3x4 cards, or you could turn it sideways. Let's see. There's a 4x6. You could put them that way, that kind of thing. So, and then you can, put little containers inside or whatnot. Wonder if, I think my other containers are too big. Where'd they go? Oh, yeah, those are too big. I do have sometimes I use those old metal Jello molds. Those are fun to use. I don't have any in here right now. Those are fun to use for organizing and things too. So, and then I also have these divided containers. I think I got these at the Dollar Tree. Pretty sure. I actually used these not last weekend, the week before, but when I was working on my Vicki Boutin stuff. So these were real helpful for bigger embellishments, like all the, the bigger paper stuff. So, and then of course, this comes with an awesome box. So I'm thinking I might actually I would like to use this box to kind of hold most everything, and maybe put some of these in here. Dog's barking again. So we'll have to see how everything fits in there. And then I also have this container, which this is in the same section as these. I don't think these stack now. But this was with actually in the bathroom stuff. It's that Bright Room collection. These are great for organizing. Like I could put my stamp sets in there. I think this one's too big though. Yeah. So maybe 4x6 cards. Will those fit? Not that way, but they would fit that way. So anyway, so I've got all those containers. So now I just need to figure out which ones I want to use to get everything organized. I need to put these sequins in my Christmas sequin box. and then I will be all set up for 2025. So let's go. Alrighty, so I started with those cute little enamel cups that I just love so much. They're so cute. And I added both the green numbers and the red numbers. They fit in there perfectly, so I love that. So now I'm just going to kind of be pulling everything out of my kit. I haven't looked at all of these goodies since I did my first video, so it's kind of like I'm looking at them all for the first time again. I love this kit so much. I love everything about it. So just kind of looking to see what I have, and I was just kind of pulling out that die to see how it fits with that paper. I have been playing around with that die a little bit, and I just love it. So pulling out all the cards and all the embellishments so that I can figure out which ones of my containers that are going to work the best. You can see here I started with those little scallop rectangular tags and the little other rectangular tags, putting them in that cute little tree organizer, but I will end up moving that because I found a better, something better that fits in there. So just kind of pulling everything out to see what I have, and then I'll actually move things around just a little bit. I started putting things in some of my containers, and then I totally forgot about another organizing containers that I had purchased. I found, I don't remember, I think at Walmart or Marshall's or something like that. They were these, you'll see these in a moment. They're like these little wood containers or bamboo. And I found them on clearance. They were marked down and they end up working out perfectly. So you'll see here I put some of those little word phrase strips, the little banners, and those little plastic presents, which I will end up swapping out for the stars because the stars end up fitting better in there. So I'm going to start with the box that the kit came in, and you see here I'm kind of trying to use my plastic containers, and you know, they worked great last year for what I had, but this year just didn't work out well for me. That's why I have so many different containers, because like I said earlier, you never know what kind of product you're going to have from year to year. So I have different sizes and shapes that can kind of work with what I have. And this is where I found those bamboo containers, and it has those little tiny square ones, which are perfect for my little plastic presents and the washi and the scalloped little journal cards. And then I did end up using one of those little plastic containers for my 3x4 cards and some of my vellum. And then there I switched out the stars into the top of the little tree. And I also clipped together, I'm not sure if I did that yet, I did not, but I clipped together some of those little journaling tags, the real small ones. Oh, there I am right there. I clipped them together just so they're easy to grab. I can, grab them when I need them, and they're not going to slip all into the bottom of my container. So I just kind of clipped those together, and then I ended up moving that little plastic container inside the larger square one. And then this longer one ended up being perfect for those 3x8 cards. Well, they're actually not 3x8. They're a little bit bigger, right? But and then those little film strips and the other word strips. So now I'm just going to put all of my envelopes and my other papers and things in the box. And I put the die cut pages on the side along with my stamps. The stamp sets may get moved at some point, but for now that's where they're at. And then I'm just going to add some of my sequins to my box. There was a lot in that one container, so it took 2 containers. And then the gold stars I'm just going to leave in its packaging for now because there's a whole lot of those. So I'll figure out what I need to do with those later at some point. So you saw how I got all of this organized. I kind of moved things around a little bit, but I love how these little cups are working for my numbers. And I've got all of my little presents in here, and the little scallop tags, and these tags, these die cut tags, all of these goodies. I also have these cardstock journaling cards. I didn't purchase the physical products from the 3x4 and 4x6 cards. I just got the digital, and then I ran this through my Mink machine. So I'm going to do something similar to what Allie did for her pre-December stories. But I've got all that set up. So, and then I've also got, my calendar filled out. I'm probably going to put some ideas down here for what I want to do for December. And then I've got this adorable tray. I love this so much. So let's take a look at what I have on my cart. And then also I've been playing around. I was playing around last night with printing some of the digitals on transparency that we got with the product play class. So I printed that. I changed that to black. So I'm going to try and run that through my Mink machine and see how that works. And then I also printed a bunch of these little tags. They turned out so cute. And I was also playing around a little bit with this die cut last night. And this is going to be the perfect size for cutting those out. So I'm probably going to play with that today and work on my foundation pages once I get this video done. So let's take a look at what is on my cart. So I tried filming this yesterday and the lighting was horrid, and it's a little overcast today, but I feel like it's a little brighter right now. So hopefully this is a little bit better. So this is my cart that I'm using for my December daily. I got this on Amazon, I think last year or the year before. I like it because it folds up so I can store it when I'm not using it. I normally use a smaller cart. I've got it back there. But I'm going to try this out and see. So far, I think this works a lot better. And then I'm going to use my other cart for gift wrap and things like that. I'm going to take that upstairs and kind of make a little gift wrapping station kind of thing. So everybody's not asking me where everything is. And plus, it'll be easier for myself. So anyway, I've got my organizer, which I kind of showed in an earlier clip, that I've got a lot of my goodies. My little gingerbread couple here. I got these in the bullseye section, I think last year. They're so cute because it just so happened that Allie's kit had all that gingerbread stuff in it, and I saw these guys and they were so cute. So I've got them in there. And then I love this container that it fits these. I said 3x8 in the earlier video, but actually they're bigger than 3x8, right? Because now they don't have the holes in them, and they're probably, let's see, I don't know what they are. Let's see. These are more like, 3 3/4 by 8. So I've got all these in here from this year, and then I've got previous years back here, along with the envelopes. I've got some 3x8 tags, or, roughly 3x8. I still got some of this notepad. If you've been around a while, you probably have those as well. But anyway, in here I've just got some dimensional adhesive, some magnets, whether or not I'll use those. I've got some page attachers. I've also got some more page attachers right here. This is the die from last year. I did use it a few times. So not sure if I'll use it this year or not. I just have some of these enamel dots that came with my Vicki Boutin zippered little bag that I'll show in a second. But right here I've got some just 3x4, these scallop tags that I love so much, these frames which I have not used yet, and I would love to use those. I think these are from the year before last. I thought I would use them last year and I didn't. A couple 4x4 cards left over. And then right here I've got my 3x4 cards divided by ones that you can journal on, and then ones that just have pattern, and then transparency or vellum ones back there. And then I've just got some tags over here from over the years. This another little notepad from a previous kit, same with that one. And then back here I've got all my stickers, again, divided by the sentiments. We all love these ones. I have a bunch of these. Labels, got labels in there. And then tab stickers, all the tab stickers. And then these are actually more like page attachers, but I've got those in there. And then I've got numbers, all kinds of numbers back here. I love these from last year. Love that we have a whole sheet of each number. I've been using the heck out of those. And then I've got bigger ones back here. I've got a few bigger things. Excuse my squeaky chair. This is just a Tim Holtz sticker book that I like. I've got some 6x8 die cut pages back here, along with some transparencies, some envelopes, some extra page protectors. This is just a package from one of the kits last year, year before, I don't know. I like it, so I may use it at some point as a pocket or whatever. Some more label stickers and that kind of stuff. Over here, I've just got some more 6x8 papers from over the years. I have this stencil back here I really would like to use, which is why I have it pulled out. This is a December Stories by the Month kit. I don't know if this was last year, probably the year before. I need to take the contents out and put it with the rest of my goodies. And then I've just got some advent calendar cards from last year. I actually used those. I might have mentioned this earlier. I used those for my dividers with an Avery index tab. And this one I think was a sticker. Yeah, sticker page. Probably from this guy right here. So I've just got some more 4x6 cards over here. Some die cuts that couldn't fit anywhere else. These are all from last year. Transparency and regular, cards. Got some of these chipboard tags that I've had forever that I use here and there. So that's what's in that holder. And this is all my previous year's stuff, right? I've got my little twine holder, which I love having them in these. I need to get more of these. I believe I got them from the dollar store. Some adhesive. I've got these Alpha chipboard, the gold and the red that I showed earlier. I actually pulled out the numbers and put those with my large numbers. So these are just alphas. And I did kind of pull them out to see if I had enough to spell some words. And I do. So I was thinking of using, I had an idea for the gold ones for a page. So we'll see. I've got my Avery index tabs, which I've got more coming in the mail of those today because I need more. And my twine that I may want to use this year, just, red and green and pink and all that stuff. And then over here, I've got all my 10x8 papers and transparencies left over from the last couple years. I've got my envelope with my scraps in it that I showed earlier, my envelope or my, zippered pocket envelope here with transparencies and vellum. And then I've got the packaging back here just because I think it's so cute. So, so down here, I still have this storage thing from my Vicki Boutin kit because she did the extra layout class on Monday, and I haven't watched that yet. I haven't been able to do that yet, so I'm hoping to do that soon. So I'm going to leave that stuff in there for now. But I've got my ribbon basket. I love this basket. Kind of organized and made sure everything in there was what I wanted in there. And then I've got my ribbon scraps in here. And then, so over here right behind me, I cleared out this area on my shelf here. You may have seen some videos. I've got junk over there, but that I share of projects that I do and stuff. But anyway, I've got all of my sorted boxes over here that you saw me sort. So I've got my album over here. I've got my my metal in there, brads and things, and then I've got my sequins, and then I've got this notebook that I actually use to practice stamp before I actually stamp on my project. You can see there, that was from last year, practicing with all the trees and the gingerbread men. So cute. This is actually my Vicki Boutin bag from this year that I got. So I moved all of my big numbers. I think that's upside down. There we go. I moved all my big numbers into here. So I've got, you know, all those ones that I showed earlier that were in a plastic container. I moved them all into here. So all of my big numbers are in this big bag right here. And then I've got my embroidery floss. I've got my containers that you saw me organize. I've got my numbers. They're all right here within reach so that I can grab them when I need them. And most likely these boxes will end up on my desk more than they will be back here, but I have them there so that they can be out of the way when I need to work on something else. So that is my organization for December Daily 2025. Hopefully maybe it gave you a few helpful hints. I'm super excited to dive into this. So I'm going to start working on my foundation pages. And I can't wait to get started. So I will see you in the next video.